Ever feel like, you're hustling but not quite getting anywhere? Like maybe those instincts need a bit of a tune-up.
Yeah.
Well, that's what we're diving into today, rewiring those instincts for success and our guidebook.
Oh, it's a classic.
Og Mandino's The Greatest Salesman in the World. We're tackling those first 3 scrolls, unpacking the wisdom that's honestly useful whether you're in sales or, well...
We're just navigating life, really.
Exactly.
Because while it says salesman right there in the title, don't click away if you're not out there closing deals every day. These scrolls, they're sneakily about life itself, using sales as this vehicle for some seriously powerful, universal principles.
It's true, because we're all selling something every day, even if it's just our ideas, right?
Yeah.
Convincing your friend to try that new restaurant,
yeah,
that's a sale.
100%.
Okay, so to set the scene, Mandino drops us right into the heart of ancient Damascus.
Bustling marketplace, the sights, the sounds.
And amidst it all, we meet Hafid.
Our ambitious camel boy.
This guy has got his eyes on a life bigger than, his current camel herding situation.
And he's got a serious case of the hots for Lisha. Problem is, she's the daughter of a successful merchant.
And we know what that means.
Oh, yeah. A simple camel boy just won't do. Talk about some high-stakes motivation.
Classic setup, right?
Yeah.
So, naturally, Hafid sets his sights on becoming the world's greatest salesman, figuring that's his ticket to win over dear old dad.
Makes sense to me.
So he goes to his master, the legendary Pathros, looking for guidance. But Pathros, wise as he is, he doesn't just hand over some, get-rich-quick scheme.
No shortcuts.
He knows real success. It's earned, not given.
Think back on your own journey for a sec. The real growth, those breakthroughs, they come from facing those challenges head on, right?
Oh, absolutely. Those are the moments you learn the most.
Every time.
So Pathros, he gives Hafid this seemingly impossible task. Go to Bethlehem and sell this single, incredibly luxurious robe. Now, if you know anything about Bethlehem, it's not exactly known for its, wealthy clientele. Even seasoned salesmen, they avoid the place like the plague.
It's like being told, go invent the internet, but you've only got, tin cans and string.
Talk about a test.
Yeah.
And, spoiler alert, Hafid struggles.
Oh, big time. Rejection after rejection, you know the drill.
Oh, that self-doubt starts to creep in. It's like we've all been there in some form.
And that's where scroll 1 swoops in like a beacon of hope. The power of habits.
Not about those flashy quick fixes.
It's about the long game, building that unshakable foundation, really taking control.
Becoming the architect of your own life. And the scroll really hammers home this point. Our habits, not some innate talent or lucky break, they're the things that are dictating our actions and ultimately our success.
It's like you said, it's not just letting life happen to you. It's about understanding those habits, those almost invisible patterns. They're the architecture of everything. Your actions, reactions, your outcomes.
Whether you're conscious of them or not. And here's what I love. The scroll actually lays out a method to cultivate those good habits. It's elegantly simple. Read the scroll, all of it, 3 times a day, every day for 30 days. And not just skimming, but truly absorbing it.
Intentional, focused repetition. You're rewiring those subconscious thought patterns, Almost like, yeah, it's almost like, when you're learning a musical instrument, you're not just learning the notes. It's about how you play them, that finesse, right?
Love that. So Hafid's over here putting in the work, building those foundational habits. But remember, he's still out there in Bethlehem, hasn't sold that robe. And this is where things take a surprising turn. Enter. Scroll 2. Love is your greatest weapon.
Ah, now you're speaking my language.
Right. And I don't know about you, but when I think sales tactics, love isn't exactly the first thing that pops into my mind.
It's funny you say that because, we're often conditioned to think it's cutthroat, right? Dog eat dog. We're all got to be ruthless to close those deals. But scroll 2 comes in with this radical idea. Approach everything and everyone with genuine love.
Okay, I'm listening, but how does that translate into an actual sales pitch? Are we talking showering your customers with compliments? What's going on here?
It's deeper than that. Think about it this way. It's about shifting your entire mindset. Instead of what can I get from this person? It's how can I actually connect with them, understand their needs genuinely.
So it's not just seeing dollar signs. You're actually seeing them as, a person.
Exactly. A human being with their own story, their own motivations. And when you come from that place of empathy, of actually caring, it builds something you can't fake. Trust.
And let's be real, we're all way more likely to buy from someone we trust and feel good around. It's think about a time you had incredible customer service, right?
Oh, tell me about it.
It's rarely just it's the product, it's that feeling, like you were actually seen and heard.
It all comes back to human connection. That's what scroll 2 really nails.
Now, speaking of connection, let's move on to scroll 3. The unstoppable force of persistence. And this one, man, this one hits home, especially in those moments when you just want to give up, throw in the towel.
Oh, 100%. We've all been there.
Scroll 3, it's like a giant pep talk for those moments. It reminds us that setbacks, totally normal. Rejection, it's part of the game. But it's how we respond, how we rise above that truly defines us.
Love that.
And I love that image the scroll uses, chopping down a mighty oak tree. You're not going to fell that thing with one swing, right? It takes time, dedication, and most importantly, that unwavering belief that you'll get there eventually.
It's about cultivating that relentless spirit, that fire in your belly that just refuses to be extinguished. And you know what it reminds me of? This quote by Winston Churchill: "Success is not final, failure is not fatal. It is the courage to continue that counts."
And isn't it so true? Think about any success story. Behind the scenes, countless rejections, setbacks, moments where giving up would have been so easy. But it's that persistence that sets the dreamers apart from the doers, wouldn't you say?
Absolutely. But even with all this incredible wisdom, remember, Hafid's still out there struggling. Days have turned into nights. He hasn't sold the robe. The doubts are swirling. One evening, cold, heading back to his makeshift shelter in this cave, he sees this light flickering inside.
And this is where Hafid's journey takes a turn. He peeks inside and finds this young family, husband, wife, and a newborn baby. They're huddled together, trying to stay warm, and you can feel it. Something shifts within Hafid. He forgets about the sale, forgets about his own troubles.
All that melts away.
And in that moment, Hafid, he just acts. He gives them the robe, the very robe he was supposed to sell, the one that represents his dreams. He just gives it away.
Wow.
And you know what happens next?
Yeah.
As he's walking away from the cave, he notices something incredible, this bright star, unlike any he's ever seen. It's following him.
No way.
Illuminating his path back to the caravan. Now, I know what you might be thinking. This sounds like some made-up fairy tale stuff. But remember, we're talking about ancient wisdom here. This star, it's symbolic. It's this beacon guiding Hafid toward his true destiny.
I love that.
And meanwhile, back at the caravan, Pathros has been watching this same star, totally captivated by it. He can tell it's something special. So when Hafid returns, Pathros, he can sense something major has gone down.
He's got a sixth sense for this stuff.
Right. So he presses Hafid, "Tell me everything about your time in Bethlehem." And Hafid, he's feeling the weight of his perceived failure. He confesses, "I didn't sell the robe." He tells him about the family, the spontaneous act of kindness, and that star that followed him back. And as Pathros listens, the seasoned salesman who's seen it all, he has this realization, this simple act of giving. It wasn't a failure. It was a pivotal moment, not just for Hafid, but for how he, Pathros, even understood the scrolls.
Amazing.
He realizes true wealth, it's not about gold or possessions. It's about those acts of generosity, about empathy. And that's when he reveals a secret he's kept hidden for over 30 years. See, he was given those scrolls by a wise man, told to only share them with one other person, someone marked by a very specific sign.
Okay, I'm on the edge of my seat here.
And what was that sign? That's right, the star. That star that followed Hafid from the cave, combined with his selflessness, it all clicked for Pathros. Hafid, the camel boy, he was a chosen one, destined to carry on the legacy of the scrolls.
Wow, what a twist.
Right. So knowing his time was coming to an end, Pathros calls Hafid to his bedside and trusts him with the cedar chest containing those precious scrolls and a sizable amount of money. The start of his new life as a salesman.
But I bet there's a catch.
Oh, there's always a catch. Hafid has to vow to follow the wisdom of Scroll 1, which, lucky for him, he's already been diligently studying.
Smart move.
He also promises to always share half his earnings with those less fortunate and to hold on to the scrolls until a sign, just like the one Pathros received, points him to the next worthy recipient.
He's got to pay it forward.
Exactly. So Hafid, filled with gratitude and a renewed sense of purpose, he sets off for Damascus. He's ready, armed with the wisdom of the scrolls and that fire in his belly, ready to embrace the journey ahead.
Such a powerful story, even just these first 3 scrolls. It makes you think, what can we, even today, take away from Hafid's experience?
That's the big question, right? I think it reminds us that success isn't just about the destination. It's the journey itself. It's about who we become along the way, the choices we make, big and small, how we treat others, especially when we think no one's watching.
It's about tuning into those seemingly small acts of kindness, recognizing they might be more significant than they appear. Because you never know, they could be the very thing shaping not just our own destiny, but the destinies of those around us. And I think that's what we're going to leave you with today.
What small act of generosity have you witnessed, maybe even done yourself, that might hold more meaning than it seems? Could it be a sign pointing you towards your own path? Think about it. And until next time, keep exploring, keep learning, and keep diving deep.